Welcome back everybody, my name is Nick930 and this is my review for the final Far Cry 5 DLC, Dead Living Zombies. Dead Living Zombies adds several new zombie-themed levels to play, each with a distinct theme and short storyline, narrated by one of the side characters in the main Far Cry 5 campaign, Guy Marvel. But unfortunately, this DLC fails to deliver an engaging experience, and plays to Far Cry's weaknesses rather than its strengths, by emphasizing linear structure and simple combat mechanics, rather than open-world exploration and stealth. So, is this zombie-themed DLC even worth it? Well, first let's look at the story on offer here. Dead Living Zombies is broken up by multiple movie concepts that Guy Marvel is pitching to various fictional directors. These cutscenes rely heavily on humor, with Guy Marvel coming off as an annoying amateur that tries to pitch his ideas to professionals in the most inappropriate places. After these short cutscenes, the player is thrown into the concept movie pitch, with some elements being altered directly by what the narrator says, like the time of day being changed or types of weapons and enemies spawning in. It's a clever idea that doesn't seem to be explored enough. Throughout each movie pitch, the director will chime in with suggestions to make it better, often requesting there to be less of a focus on killing zombies and more on things like character development or atmosphere, to which Guy Marvel just continues to indulge himself with non-stop zombie slaughter. While it's a funny concept in the short term, it gets repetitive and old quickly, and the fact that the writers of this DLC realized that by writing in actual suggestions that would have made the experience more interesting is concerning. If you realize that the DLC had zero character development or reason to exist, then why did you bother releasing it? Still, there is a tiny bit of a developing story if you play through each one of these pitches. Guy Marvel eventually pitches to a director that likes his idea but wants to make creative tweaks to it. Guy Marvel reluctantly gives in, and you can sense a shift in his tone and attitude because of this, something that carries over into the next level as he pitches to a different director. He eventually gets his groove back thanks to the other director encouraging him to embrace his own creative vision, and he goes back to being overly excited about blowing up zombies again. So there's a bit of an interesting story here, but it's just not explored deeply enough. But honestly, it doesn't really matter when you take into consideration the actual gameplay experience. All 7 of these zombie-filled missions are practically identical and painfully repetitive. You spawn in with a specific set of weapons and need to get from point A to point B while killing zombies along the way. All the zombies function exactly the same as the drug-fueled Bliss enemies from the main game, only with a different skin. There's only one new enemy type called the Behemoth Zombie, which features some heavy knockdown attacks and can only be effectively killed by shooting a large weak spot on its back. Each level is short and can be completed within 2 to 3 minutes, with little reason to explore outside of finding extra ammunition and armor. They were all incredibly easy, and I often didn't even need to aim down the sight of my weapon. The only pitch that had some potential was Killer Climate, a level that makes the player a park ranger in the mountains, required to investigate a disturbance down near a shack. Along the way, there's a bunch of zombie animals, which helps to mix up the mundane, normal zombies you had been killing up to this point. And the level also mixes in some rock climbing and a bit of an open-ended choice as to where you want to go. And finally, we get to visuals and performance. Just like the base game, this DLC seems to run just about fine without any noticeable slowdowns. However, the game did crash twice on me, once just sitting on the main menu doing absolutely nothing, and another time after completing a mission as it tried to load the pitch select screen again. Thankfully, no progress was lost, but I've never had this game crash on me before, so I'm afraid this was introduced with the latest update. As for visuals, this game's DLC looks poorly crafted. Each level feels like it was created using pre-existing assets already used in the base Far Cry game, and thrown into a player-made custom map. It just comes off as lazy and uninspired, and about the only interesting thing thrown in was a Blood Dragon boss enemy at one point. The zombies themselves look fine, but I was disappointed to find that there was no gore implemented into the zombie models themselves. They appear like they have chunks of flesh missing by default, but you can't dismember them in any way, a feature that's basically mandatory if you decide to go down the zombie killing route for your game. Overall, I'm pretty dissatisfied with this final expansion to Far Cry 5. A zombie-themed expansion to a Far Cry game sounds like a perfect match, combining Far Cry's pre-existing open-world exploration with its outpost securing and adventure. But instead, we're given a bunch of uninspired linear levels that take a few minutes to complete, riding solely on a joke that's played out within the first cutscene. It's a repetitive and needless experience that does little to add value to the base game. The content tries to encourage replay by allowing cooperative play and featuring special ability unlocks that will help make repeated playthroughs easier, but why would players bother if this was already incredibly easy to begin with? That, on top of the less than stellar previous expansions, makes the overall Season Pass simply not worth the price. Hope you guys enjoyed this look at Far Cry's latest expansion. What did you guys think of it? Let me know in the comments section, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this posted every week.